Ladies and gentlemen, we have made it. We finally have Saints Row gameplay.
Look at the size of that. I'm not kidding. It's like an orange in a toothpick.
You're gonna get your boy a complex.
It's a virtual planetoid. Has its own weather system.
So yeah, good old gameplay. We finally got it. I was waiting to make this update video until we finally had some concrete, grounded gameplay, and honestly, a lot of it looks pretty good. The driving looks tighter, and also they did a Q&A, although the Q&A was a little leaded, but we'll get into that in a hot minute. But ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be breaking down all the current Saints Row news that's been coming out this last couple weeks because of Game Informer has a contract with them and allowing them to kind of see behind the curtain. And there's a lot of good things to say. First of all, the driving looks a lot tighter, but also doesn't look like it compromised the core value of what Saints Row was, which was fun over realism. There's a couple times in the gameplay trailer that you just see a dude eat a cactus and just stay on his bike, which of course would not happen. But I'm happy that it did, or that he did, or she did, whatever. But alas, my friend, just a little spoiler alert, my favorite part of this video is towards the end where we're going to be reading some of the comments, and oh my god, is it just... Anywho, let's get into the gameplay breakdown. So like I said, the driving looks significantly better, improved upon, all that stuff. It looks like the cars have more control in air, which has always been something that they've been good at, and frankly, we haven't had a long time to actually dig into the driving in Saints Row for a hot minute because they replaced it very quickly with superpowers and hovermobiles and all those kinds of things. Although I really hope they make this supposed hoverboard that exists in the game pretty damned fantastic. So, but yes, the engine that we're now rocking looks visually pretty spectacular. Also, one of the cool things that came out in the gameplay is, of course, now there is called surfing, or like roof surfing, essentially, where you can sit on the top of your vehicle's hood and, of course, jump to another vehicle with your wingsuit, or just straight up wingsuit to another place, whatever. This is awesome. I'm good with this. This very much reminds me of the weirdness that existed in a game called Sleeping Dogs. But yeah, regardless, very cool to see that in action. Hopefully, it feels fun and intuitive to actually execute and do and play. But then they started shooting things, yeah, the shooting looked like it could use a little bit more time in the oven. I don't know what it is nowadays where people are like scaling up the crosshairs to be huge for doing massive health bars. Now, good news is that they allow you to turn it off usually within the settings, and if they don't, then well, it's just a nightmare because you can't actually see the pretty world. You see a weird HUD that looks messy. But that was one of the biggest takeaways that I had from this is I hate, and I mean hate, the crosshairs. The health bars, I hope you can just turn them off and you'll be good to go. Although health bars are always nice because they can tell you when an enemy's actually dead, and in a game like Saints Row where you're hucking grenades and things are exploding all around you, people tend to ragdoll, and if you're not dead, then you'll turn around, shoot an enemy, and then a dude will shoot you in the back of the head with a shotgun, wrecking you. So you want to make sure that people are down when they're down. I digress. The crosshair, man, to me looked really mucky, like just kind of gross. Didn't really sync up or like have that same bite. Maybe possibly within further investment within skills we'll develop that accuracy and all that stuff, although I liked that was never a thing in Saints Row. You could always relatively aim and hit the head if you aimed at the head. It wasn't something that you had to hyper invest in, although I could see them kind of trying to do that with the leveling up system of, well, no, beforehand your previous dude had some experience as being a previous gang member, so he could probably shoot somewhat straight, whereas these people have no idea what they're doing in terms of combat, so you gotta work with what you got, and they'll get there eventually. I don't know if that's what they're doing, but all I know is that was the one part that seemed really rough, or at least right now. Oh, also one more note I wanted to mention quickly about the driving. The driving looks like the cars weigh a tremendous amount, but also are like feathers. So when they take off and they're in the air, they kind of glide around. But if you tap any other vehicle on the road, they just get like biffed really hard into the curb. Like you just have so much mass. So it's weird but cool. You can kind of like shoulder check someone in a vehicle and actually mess up their whole life, it seems like. But again, the gameplay that I personally was waiting for, my friends, is the on the boots on the ground kind of gameplay, and it seems like that is the stuff that might need a little bit more time in the oven, which is fine. But I don't know, man. Like it seemed like there's like, yeah, like I don't know. I feel like they just haven't nailed that thing yet, because it feels like the shotgun has too much recoil. Like when she fires it, it's like a fucking cannon. Whereas, I mean, the shotguns have always kind of felt that way, except that like the crosshair never moved. At least I don't remember it moving. I might be looking at the past with rose-colored glasses, forgive me. But yeah, I don't know, I just find that the boots on the ground gunplay seemed a little weird, and when he was shooting outside of the car, like leaning out and shooting, it also seemed very like messy. Like I think honestly it's just the crosshairs. So I feel like the trailer that we got first with like that 2 seconds of gameplay in it was better because they turned off the HUD and they just allowed you to see what the beautiful character design, the awesome color and lighting that now exists within the game. But ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, very excited still. I still think it looks awesome. Again, the first thing that I and everybody else noticed was the abundance of the health bar, as well as the crosshairs look just messy, too big, far too big. Hopefully you can turn them down, I don't know. I just think it's everyone thinks this. Spoiler for the comments, brutal brutal people out here. But yes, I do think we're still waiting for that true set piece one-to-one walkthrough of all of what Santo Lasso is. As furthermore, the gameplay and what they're hopefully gonna have something that replaces the power system in the game. Not exactly, because that's something that we're gonna dig into right now when we're talking about the Q&A. This game is very much like Saints Row 2 and Saints Row 3, but that doesn't mean you can't have more ways to crack the egg. Doesn't mean you have to use a firebolt. It just means you could do something else, and I hope that something else is there. All right, so they recently did a awesome Q&A, albeit it was very it seemed like it was very not a Q&A, or if it was very planned, because it seemed like not a lot of the questions that everybody really wanted to know, or if maybe that he would have asked and they wouldn't have given him an answer that was even passable, so maybe that's what happened. But regardless, one thing that they did cement is that this is a reboot, that the aliens from the previous games don't exist in this world. Johnny Gat's not coming back in any way, shape, or form. This is completely going back in time for the first instance of the Saints. In fact, one of the things that's pretty awesome is that they actually set up in a church, and it's the 3rd Street, so Third Street Saints, and they go into the various degrees of traversal, such as wingsuiting and apparently boating and such. But there are a few takeaways I think we don't exactly know that do kind of spark curiosity quite a bit, so here are those.
What else can you customize in this game?
Everything?
Is there post-launch content planned?
Yes.
Did you ever consider making a sequel instead of a reboot?
Briefly.
So why a reboot?
Where do you go with a sequel?
So does that mean no superpowers this time?
No superpowers this time.
Do we at least get some outlandish weapons?
Yes.
So there we go. We have confirmation, hopefully, of some substantial post-launch content, which should be fun. Saints Row has always had like the season pass thing, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with this, the reboots. But I will say, again, one of the things that's always made me like, I keep hearing this, but it's like what do we do for a sequel? Meanwhile, like to me, again, Saints Row was one of the few games, especially at the point in which Gat Out of Hell existed, where people would be like, if you just made like more of this, at least for like one more game, I'd be actually okay with it. Although they got a lot of shit using the same map in a digital space, which makes sense that, people are like, well, could you just show us a new location with some new cool characters? But also, why do we have to butcher the cast of the previous characters? But anyways, regardless, very cool. Can't wait. I'm very interested also that the fact that they mentioned that there's going to be more customization, or like everything is customizable. That sounds awesome. I just hope it's also tied to progression, so it's actually like earning it to some extent. But anyways, I digress. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now that you guys have put up with me rambling about what I feel about with the game, and also trying to break down the gameplay and content as much as I possibly can, show you guys the highlights and all these things. Now, what are you guys saying in the comment section down below? This is from the official Saints Row YouTube channel, and essentially, let's find some nuggets of gold in this hell-infested internet. All right. Okay. Oh, cool. There's an Easter egg bunny in the thing.
Opportunities that will reward like.
Cute! Cute little chunky monkey over there, okay. Oh, also, by the way, these are the comments in the just showcasing Santo Lasso, which is pretty cool, showing you guys the environments. Also, people saying, please have a lot of enterable buildings. Yes, I agree with that. That'd be nice. Playing Saints Row 2 again, having 100% interiors was an amazing feature. Not in the sequel. Yeah, it's true. Freedom of choice and character customization, that's what I need. Show me character creative options. I feel like we're taken care of. I've thought the same way when people were talking about this in the beginning. I'm like, they got us, man. Even if it's the same thing that they gave us, it's still the most in-depth character creator out there, rivaled only by like Black Desert and shit. Anyway, hope we get a penthouse, not just the planning area they've shown. Yeah, no, I agree. I think, but also we've seen it in certain things where there will be, like, again, a lot of customization. So that's awesome to hear. So I think that's gonna answer that person's question. But we've yet to see the gameplay, so I feel ya. Near the end of October, we may probably be getting a 15-minute trailer. I don't know about this guy, Mr. Internet Mouse. Got the down low information. I hope so, my friend. If we can, I'd be a happy camper. Anyway, alas, we're at the first look, which is actually the gameplay, in which we seen the glorious, massive, just fucking huge health bars. Health bars. The crosshairs also jump around like a wild hyena. Anywho, people say, I'm surprised a tree doesn't have a health bar. Need more health bar. Even the cactus. Porta potties need health bars. Bang. I'm really hoping we can turn those health bars off as an accessibility option. Yeah, me too. Usually they do that. The only thing is, I just hope we can make them smaller and like mess with the trends appearancy of them, because I hate when I still like it. Like, again, when you're shooting an enemy and they drop, you want to make sure they're dropped, or else they're gonna like get up behind you when you've already moved on and shoot you, which sucks. Looks like the more refined version of Saints Row 3 with a light inspiration from Just Cause. Oh, I actually didn't even think about that, but I could see that with the whole weird grappling thing, which is fine with me. Hope they show off the customization soon. That's what everyone is seeming like if Saints Row is one thing, the customization is one of them. But also, man, to me, it's the conquest aspect of it. Honestly, I love customization, but if I could put something above it, it'd be the fact that like you're slowly taking control of all of these stores, of all of these zones, of all of these gangs, and slowly but surely you look at the past and you see that you run this shit, you know. That's the feeling of feeling like the boss, which is awesome. Not enough health bar. There should be more health bars, such as when you hit plants and pots. This game feels dead from this gameplay. It just ain't right. What do you mean? What? Not really a fan of the cars having health bars. Oh, that's also the other thing. Yeah, everything has a health bar. That's what the people were meaning. It's not just the people. It's that the fucking cars have health bars and the people have health bars. Yeah. It looks like some sort of single-player RPG where everything has health bars and you always do the same quest over and over again for better loot, just so uninspired and boring. All right, Mr. Super Arcade, you've seen, what is it? You've seen 3 minutes. Okay, that is a fuck ton to infer, but sure. I mean, you're entitled to your own opinion, although I do disagree. I think we should see some more gameplay of it. And honestly, again, enemies drop. As much as the health bars are annoying, you get a headshot, it seems like it does okay. You get a headshot with shotgun, it seems like it puts people down. But yeah, so arcadey. Every game, it was arcadey. Every game was arcade. Guns have no power, vehicles have no weight. What are you talking about? What do you mean? Vehicles have no weight? What the fuck are you talking about? You touch a vehicle, it gets concussed 6 feet backwards. Makes no sense. Cops can't kill you from 2 feet away, and one mag blow up cars. Again, what is, like, this has always been the series. I don't know what this, like, do you want it to be Dark Souls? Because, like, this game has always been power fantasy. Also, yeah, you'll get your ass handed to you, usually by an onslaught of enemies. And also, each gang provides a different level of potential strength. So there is a gang that's pure number based. There's a gang that also has to do with muscle, so they're going to rush you with melee weapons. There's also a gang that has technology on their side. So, like, again, I think it's about how you engage with each gang, and that's being kind of difficulty string of them being kind of different difficulties in general. But yeah, as far as it being arcadey and the guns having no power, I don't know, the guns, I can see the guns having no power being kind of like a thing that people infer from this, because this doesn't help. This seems very, like, again, like they just kind of decide to give up on life. They just kind of swerve away. So I understand that sentiment, but I don't know if it's fair to say that that's all of the things, you know? Also, one thing I forgot to tell you guys is they basically broke down in one of these Game Informer interviews about how the hell the conquest is going to work, which we already kind of know. But basically, there's just like every Saints Row game, so it's not too big information, but essentially, there's underground criminal activity within each sect of the city. So for instance, there's like food carts, and they're really just drug shifting operations. So you're going to go try to infiltrate that, dominate it, control it, and then just propagate it even more. So we're not the good guys in Saints Row. It's always been prevalent, although we're less shit than who is currently in power, which is also slightly okay. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you guys do enjoy the rest of your day. This is just me shooting the shit with you guys. Also, very excited for the game. Again, still going to cover the shit out of it. Very hyped about it. I hope we can see a one-to-one walkthrough, and also their answer to, is this just going to be like what is the extent of the gameplay is my thing. Because I feel like I'm still hovering in the possibility land, and I just need to be grounded about like, no. It's just point, shoot, click, that's it. It's nothing else, nothing more. I'm sorry, is what it is. You can, the customization's here, and the domination and the conquest is still here. If you are interested in that, then go forth and conquer, which I will be. But again, I'm still hoping that we can have something else besides point, click, shoot, done. Anywho, hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for your time, and goodbye.